My video for February the 28th, 2018 is entitled, Real Love Does Not Stand By and Simply Watch. If I was the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent creator, I would have declared enough a long time ago. It is not loving when a parent stands by as his or her children are abused in any way and does nothing to help. Therefore, I wonder, how can the creator of all that is stand by and do nothing as more and more people are finally beginning to awaken and the evil powers that have wielded economic and political control try to silence those who have been doing our best to awaken the people to the corruption rampant on this planet? Surely there is something radically wrong with this picture. People get mad at me when I say I would punch God in the face if I die and no positive change has taken place to begin to actually free us from the tyranny of evil. Nevertheless, if I had those omni characteristics, I would exercise them in a much more positive way than we have witnessed in what we think of as human history. I would certainly not simply stand by and watch. That is not love as I see it. Yes, I'm impatient. And I paused there because I saw an error. And now I don't see where it was to go back and fix it, so I'll have to try to catch it later. But as I'm reading it for the first time, I thought, that word doesn't belong there, and a different word does. That happens sometimes. I read what I intend and not what I actually type. Anyway, folks, I have been very perplexed over a number of issues. One of the triggers, of course, is the fact that some of the people that have been sounding the alarm and trying to wake people up have had their YouTube channels taken down so that they can no longer post videos on YouTube. And I have been on YouTube every day, as I said, since January 2011, and with the exception of the little bit of time that I was in the operating room and intensive care when I had my second open heart surgery a couple years ago. And the other thing that bothers me is that my grandchildren have become anti-guns, and they're obviously being brainwashed at various levels that the problem with these school shootings is that too many people have guns that shouldn't have guns. Only soldiers, police, and criminals are allowed to have guns. Criminals, of course, because they don't obey the law anyway. So law-abiding people are supposed to give up the weapons, and I don't have any weapons, but in any case, the government wants control. And this is an evil agenda, folks. The Second Amendment to the Constitution, or what's in the part that's known as the Bill of Rights, the second one is the right to bear arms. And that is what has kept the United States from being attacked on our own shores more than any other thing. Now, the attacks occur, but they're not overt. They're very covert and very hidden. The only war we've had to deal with was, of course, the Civil War, and that was actually created by England and France, each taking one of the sides, the North and the South, each supported one side against the other. And that's when the United States under Lincoln actually it began to lose its freedom when they allowed an attorney to be president, because an attorney holds an allegiance to a foreign entity, namely Britain. That's the Bar Association, a British accredited registry, as I've said so many times. But yet, here's the problem. my grandkids are being taught in school a bunch of things that I was taught too, and others have been taught, but everything is being turned up and ramped up because they're trying, the elite establishment, is trying very hard to get their new world order, their one world order in place. Of course, I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but how many of us are going to have to sacrifice our lives? Now, of course, I believe that this life isn't the end of it all. But I also don't believe that physical reality is just an illusion. It may not be vibrating at a higher frequency, but it's not just an illusion. Again, I go back to the Anastasia. She was not just an illusion, folks. She did have gifts, powers, and abilities and talents and stuff like that that most of us are unaware of. I think we have them, but they're latent and they're inaccessible to us as long as we can't figure out how to get out of the fear and the concerns that we have that seem natural to us. She had no fear because she knew that she was in charge. And I wish I could get more of us, and myself included, to reach that state of consciousness where there would be no more fear, where there would be no more anxiety over, am I going to survive or not? I mean, many of us, myself included, have done lots of things to establish our independence from the control of a government that we have long recognized does not have the best interest of humanity at heart. It's demonic, folks. When are we going to understand that for some reason the Creator took a back seat and said, go ahead, do what you want to do, and to hell with the people that don't want to go along with it. Do what you want to do. You can do whatever you want to my children, and it doesn't matter. Now, that does not mark, in my mind, a very good parent. That does not, it's not a quality that someone that loves would exercise. And of course, as I've said before, I missed it that the Bible, and there's so many of my friends that are Christians, and I was raised a Christian, and I was raised reading the Bible. But a jealous God is an insecure God. It's not the ultimate creator. The ultimate creator, why would someone that's omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent be insecure? Why would someone that could do anything he or she or it wanted to do feel a sense of insecurity and not knowing what to do the best and not willing to step in when something is going terribly awry? Now, I do not believe free will should be taken away, but I do believe there should be retribution for crimes, and they should happen within the person's lifetime so that they get the picture that behaving like this is going to cost something. There's going to be a penalty to be paid. But that's not how things work. The people that rise up in the political structure through the economic structure of our universe that creates all of the slavery, those people seem to be marked with great impunity. Now, of course, I did read that they still die too. Yeah, and they apparently do. But they are able to live high on the hog throughout their lifetimes because no accountability is required of them, or at least that's the way it appears. If God is going to make the world a place worth living in, and I'm not talking about some 5D world, I'm talking about the 3D world. If this is going to be a place worth living in, God needs to begin to take responsibility and at the very least empower those that have good intentions, those that are willing to love even their enemies. And I would love to see the Illuminati repent. Is that possible? I don't know. I don't know. The saying is, with God, all things are possible. Anyway, my 10 minutes are up. And I'll talk more about that perhaps in the next video. Thank you for listening, and namaste.